If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had, no doubt, some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces.
Be collected. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck I have with such provision in mine art so safely ordered that there is no soul which thou saw'st sink.
Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my daughter, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father. 'Tis time I should inform thee, father, and pluck my magic garment from thee. Canst thou remember a time before we came into this cell?
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women that once tended me?
Thou hast, and more, Miranda. 12 years since, Miranda, thy father was the Duke of Milan, and a prince of power, and thou his only heir and princess, no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence?
By foul play were we heaved thence, but blessedly holp hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds.
My brother, thy uncle Antonio, he whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at the time, through all the signories it was the first, and Prospero, the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity, and for the liberal arts without a parallel, those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, having both the key of officer and office, set all the hearts of the state to what tune pleased his ear. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to bettering of my mind, with that which, but by being so retired, in my brother awaked an evil nature, and my trust did beget of him a falsehood, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound, he being thus lauded, not only with what my revenue yielded, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty, his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. So dry he was for sway with the King of Naples, to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet and bow to most ignoble stooping. The King of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honours on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied. One midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness, the ministers for the purpose hurried thence, and thy crying self.
Alack for pity! I, not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it over again. It is a hint that rings mine eyes to it.
Hear a little further, and I'll bring thee to the present business which now suppons, without the which this story would be most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not destroy us in that hour?
So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colours fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged, nor tackle, sail, nor mast. The very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the wind whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubim thou wast that did preserve me.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine, some food we had and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, had out of his charity did give us, stuffs and necessities. Knowing I love my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now I arise. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princesses can, that have more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens thank you for it. And now, I pray you, sir, your reason for raising the sea storm?
By accident, most strange, bountiful fortune, hath mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my precedence, I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court, but not omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep, and give it way. Come, I am ready now. Approach, my Ariel.
All hail, great master. I come to answer thy best pleasure, best to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the cruel clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all his quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article, I boarded the king's ship. Now, on the deck, in every cabin, I flamed amazement, divided, and burn in many places. On the topmost, the yards would I flame distinctly, fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring. All but mariners would I flame distinctly, and quit the vessel. Then the king's son, Ferdinand, with hair upstanding like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leaped, cried, "Hell is empty, and all the devils are here."
Why, that's my spirit. Are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished. As thou badest me, I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son have I landed by himself. Safely in harbour is the king's ship. In the deep nook, there she's hid. The mariners, all under hatches, slowed, with a charm joined to their surfeited labour, I have left asleep. For the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, bound safely home to Naples, supposing that they saw the king's shipwreck and all his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What is it thou canst demand?
My liberty, I prithee, remember, I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakes, served without grudge or grumbles. Thou didst promise to bake me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what torment I did free thee?
No, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hadst. I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgetst. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, was banished. This blue-eyed hag, hither brought with child and here, was left by the sailors. Thou was then her servant, and, for thou wast a spirit, too delicate to act her aboard commands, she did confine thee. In her most unmitigable rage, imprisoned thou didst painfully remain 12 years, within which space she died and left thee there. Then was this island, save for the son a whelp hag born.
Caliban, her son.
Caliban, thou best know'st from what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl. It was a torment to lay upon the damned witch Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape and let thee out.
I thank thee, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so. and after 2 days I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go make thyself like a nymph, invisible to every eyeball else. Go take this shape and hither come in't. Go hence with diligence, my quaint Ariel. Hark in thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Awake, dear heart, awake.
The strangeness of your story puts heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come, we'll see Caliban, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. Caliban, thou earth, thou speak.
There's wood enough within.
Come forth, I say. There's other business for thee.
As wicked do, as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both and blister you all over.
For this tonight thou shalt have cramps. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than the bees that made them.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou made much of me. Give me water with berries in't, and teach me, and I loved thee, and I showed thee all the qualities of the isle. Cursed be that did so. Here you sty me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep me from the rest of the island.
I have used thee filth as thou art with human care, lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst cease to violate the honour of my child.
Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else the isle with Calibans.
I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak. When thou didst not, I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known.
You taught me language, and my profit on't is, I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Hagseed, hence! Fetch us in fuel, and be quick. If thou neglects or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps. Hence
No,
away.
pray thee, I must obey his arts of such power.
Come, and to these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you have kissed, the wild waves whist. Foot is featly here and there, and sweet spirits the burden bear. Hark, hark!
Where should this music be? In the air or in the earth? I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather, but is gone. No, begins again.
Full Phantom 5, thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made, those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his now.
Advance and say what thou seest yond.
What is it? A spirit? It carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench, it sleeps and eats and has such senses as we have such. This gallant which thou seest was in the wreck, and but he's something stained with grief. Thou mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Most sure, the goddess on whom these airs attend. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder if you be maid or no?
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens, I am the best of them that speak this speech, were I but where 'tis spoken.
How, the best? What wert thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes beheld the king my father act, and all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control thee, if now we're fit to do it. At the first sight they have changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir? I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word?
Why speaks my father so ungently?
Oh, I'll make you the Queen of Naples.
One word more. I charge thee that thou attend me. Thou dost usurp the name that thou owest not, and hast put thyself on this island as a spy. to win it from me. The Lord on it. Come, I'll manacle thy neck and feet together.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Make not too rash a trial of him, for he's gentle and not fearful.
Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come from thy ward, for I can here disarm thee with this stick, and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. Thou thinkest there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban. Foolish wench! To most of men this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey!
My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wreck of all my friends, nor this man's threat, to whom I am subdued, are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid, all corners else of the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on, thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Follow me. Thou shalt be free as mountain winds, but then do exactly all the points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come, follow, speak not for him.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all, of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss.
Weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir, therefore, my lord.
I prithee, spare.
Well, I have done, but yet.
He will be talking.
Though this island seem to be desert, uninhabitable, and almost inaccessible, the air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs and rotten ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Or that there's none, or little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks. How green.
He misses not much.
But the rarity of it is, methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we first put them on in Africa.
At the marriage of the king's fair daughter Clarabel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen.
Sir, we were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen. Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a sort, when I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into my ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I had never married my daughter there. My son is lost.
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him. He trod the water. He breasted the surge most swollen that met him. His bald head above the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with his good arms to the shore. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he is gone.
We've lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them than business is making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness and time to speak it in.
You rub the sore. It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
If I were king on this isle, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
No kind of traffic would I admit, no magistrate, letters should not be known, riches, poverty, use of service, none, contract, succession, bound of land, vineyard, none, no use of metal or corn, or wile or oil, no occupation, all men idle, and women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on it.
All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavour. Treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine would I not have, but nature should bring forth all abundance to feed my innocent people. I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
God save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo.
Prithee no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue and laugh at nothing still.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep, for I am very heavy?
I too. You laugh me asleep.
Go, sleep, and hear us.
I wish mine eyes would, with themselves, shut up my thoughts.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest, and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous, heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
They fell together all, as by consent. They dropped as by thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian? And yet methinks I see it in thy face, what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head. Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and thou speakest out of thy sleep. What as thou didst say, this is a strange repose to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Thus, sir, the king's son's alive. 'Tis as impossible that he's undrowned, and that he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Out of that no hope, will you grant me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then, tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
Queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life, she that from Naples can have no note. We all were sea-swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny, to perform an act whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and by my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true my brother's daughter, Queen of Tunis, so is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall Clarabelle measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis and let Sebastian wake? Oh, that you do bore the mind that I do. What asleep with this for your advancement? Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True, and look how well my garments sit upon me, much feeter than before, and my brother's servants were then my fellows, now they are my men.
But for your conscience?
Ay, sir, where lies that? Here lies your brother. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay dead for ever.
As thou gott's Milan, I'll come by Naples, draw thy sword, one stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like to fall it on Gonzalo.
My master, through his art foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, for else his project dies, to keep them living. While you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off this slumber and beware. Awake, awake, awake.
Then let us both be sudden.
Now, good angels, preserve the king.
Preserve the king.
Why, how now? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls or lions. Did it not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honour, sir, I heard a strange humming. There was a noise. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts, for he is sure in the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lords, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
All the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, on Prosper fall, and make him by inchmeal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse, but they'll nor pinch me, fright me, pitch me, nor lead me in the dark out of my way. Sometime am I all wound with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. Lo, here comes a spirit of his to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance he will not mind me.
There's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. And another storm brewing. I know not where to hide my head. What have we here? A man or a fish, dead or alive? A fish. He smells like a fish, a strange fish. This monster make a man, leg like a man, and fins like arms. I do now let loose my opinion, hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that had lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm is come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There are no other shelters hereabouts. I will shroud to the dregs of the dawn of the stormy past.
I shall no more to see. Here I shall die ashore. This is a very scurvy tune, but here's my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain and I, the gunner and his mate, loved them all. Meg and Marion and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, "Go hang!" She loved not the savour of tar nor pitch, yet a tailor may scratch her where she did itch. Then to see boys and let her go hang. This is a very scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort.
Do not torment me, oh!
Have we devils here? I have not escaped drowning, to be afeard now of your 4 legs.
The spirits torment me, oh!
This is some monster of the isle, with 4 legs.
It's heavy to me as odious.
With
This man
devil
should be
should
as
he
heavy
learn
to me
our
as-
language,
This which I said
I will give him some relief.
makes my
Is
labours
it
plenty.
me, but for that,
And tongues more gentle.
if I can recover him and keep him tame,
I should
and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor.
Do not torment me, prithee, I'll bring my wood home faster.
I shall distract. I must strike.
He shall taste of my bottle, if I can recover him and keep him tame. I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him. Come on your ways, open your mouth. Here is that which will give language to you. Cat, open your mouth. This will shake your shaking. I can tell you, and that's only. You cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. it should be. But he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices. A most delicate monster. His forward voice now is to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. Come, I will pour some in thy other mouth.
Stephano!
Doth thy other mouth on me? This is a devil and no monster.
Stephano! I am Trinculo, thy good friend Trinculo.
If thou be'st Trinculo, come forth. Thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of this moon calf?
I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned, Stephano? Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead moon calf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou living, Stephano? Oh, Stephano, 2 Neapolitans escaped.
Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, that's a brave god, and bears celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle, how camest thou hither? I escaped upon a butt of sack, which the sailors heaved overboard. By this bottle, which I made out of the bark of a tree, with mine own hands, since I was cast ashore.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject.
Here, swear then, how thou escaped.
Swim ashore, man, like a duck.
Thou canst swim like a duck. Thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stephano, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside, where my wine is hid. How now, moon calf?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee, I was the man. I the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in here, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
I this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I have feared of him. The man, I the moon, a most poor, credulous monster. Well-drawn monster, in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island. I will kiss thy foot. I prithee, be my god. I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Come on then, down and swear. Come, kiss.
I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. I'll plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster, to make wonder of a poor drunkard.
And I, with my long nails, will dig thee pig nuts. I'll bring thee to clustering filberts. Wilt thou go with me?
Lead the way, without any more talking. Trinculo, the king and all our company, else be drowned. We will inherit here. Here, bear my bottle.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell.
A howling monster, a drunken monster.
Ban, Calaban has a new master. Get a new man. Ban, Calaban has a new master. Get a new man. Freedom!
Oh, brave monster, lead the way!
This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious, but the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labours pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labours.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. Pray set it down and rest you. My father is hard at study. Pray now rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray give me that, I'll carry it to the pile. I should do it with much more ease, for my goodwill is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, my noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, what is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broken your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of my admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, but you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass, mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call than you, good friend. I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides, to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
O heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honour you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence bashful cunning, and prompt me, plain and holy innocence. I am your wife if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow you may deny me, but I'll be your servant, whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
Die, with a heart as willing as bondage ever of freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell till half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
So glad of this as they, I cannot be. Who are surprised withal? But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet is supper time as I perform much business appertaining.
Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, they say there's but 5 upon this isle. We are 3 of them. If the other 2 be brain like us, the state totters. Where should they be set else? He were a brave monster indeed, if they were set in his tail.
My man monster, thou shalt be my lieutenant. Mooncalf, speak once in thy life, if thou be'st a good mooncalf.
How does thy honour? Let me lick thy shoe. I'll not serve him. He's not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am in case to justle a constable. Why thou deboshed fish thou? Was there ever a man a coward that has drunk so much sack as I today? wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Lo, how he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord? Bite him to death, I prithee.
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. The poor monster's my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I thank thy noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made thee? As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me off the island.
Thou liest.
Thou liest? Thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him any more in his tale, by this hand, I will supplant some of your teeth.
Why? I said nothing.
No more. Proceed.
By sorcery he got the isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yeah, my lord, I'll yield him thee asleep, without mayst knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest. Thou canst not.
Thou scurvy patch, I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows, take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he shall drink naught but brine, for I'll not show him with a quick freshes off.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand I'll turn my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why? What did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Take that back. As you like this, give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie. Out to your wits and bearing to, a murrain on your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Ah, beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand, father. Come, proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There they must brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or paunch him with a stake, or cut his weasand with thou knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he is but a sot, as am I, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books, and that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman, but only Sycorax. But she is far surpassed Sycorax.
Is it so brave, lass?
Aye, my lord, she will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will be king and queen. Trinculo and thyself will be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I am sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half an hour will he be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
On my honour.
Yes, when I tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure.
So, come on, Trinculo. Sing. Flautum
and
scoutum. Flautum and scoutum.
That's not the tune.
What is this, Syme?
This is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody.
If thou be'st a man, show thyself in thy likeness. If thou be'st a devil, takest thou list.
Oh, forgive my sins!
Mercy upon us!
Art thou feared?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeared. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me.
When Prospero is destroyed.
The sound is going away. Let's follow it, and after do our work.
Lead, monster, we will follow.
Wilt come? I'll follow Stefano.
I can go no further.
Sir, my old bones ache. By your patience I needs must rest me.
Old lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits.
Sit down and rest.
Even here I will put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He is drowned. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he is so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forego the purpose that you resolved to effect.
The next advantage we will take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travel.
I say, tonight, no more.
What harmony is this?
My good friends, hark!
Marvellous sweet music.
What were these?
Now I believe that there are unicorns.
'Tis true, travellers never did lie, though those at home did condemn them.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders, though they are monstrous shape, their manners are more gentle kind than our human generation you shall find.
Honest lord, thou hast said well, for some of you there present are worse than devils.
It vanished strangely.
No matter, since they have left their vines behind, for we have stomachs.
Wilt please you to taste of what is here?
Not I.
Faith, sir, you need not fear.
I will stand to and feed, although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stands to and do as we.
You are three men of sin, whom destiny, that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it, the never surfated sea, hath caused to belch up you. And on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you, mongest men, being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellow ministers of fate, the elements of whom your swords are tempered, may as well wound the loud winds. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strength and will not be uplifted. But remember that you are three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, having sent the seas and shores, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me, lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall, step by step, attend you and your ways, whose wrath to guard you from, which here, in this most desolate isle, as falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart, sorrow, and clear life ensuring.
Bravely the figure of this harpy thou performed, my Ariel. A grace it had, devouring of my instruction. My high charms work, and these, my enemies, are all knit up in their distractions. They are now in my power, and in these fits I leave them, while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and mine love darling.
Sir, why stand you in a strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous, monstrous. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, it did pronounce the name of Prospero. It did pass my trespass. Therefore my son in the Ouse is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than ever plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
But one thunder at a time, I'll fight legions over.
I'll be thy second.
All three of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite the spirit. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.
Follow, I pray you.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here a third of mine own life, for all that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased. Take my daughter.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue, and long life, with such love as 'tis now, the most opportune place.
Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What, Ariel, my industrious servant Ariel?
What with my postant martyr? Here I am.
Go bring the rabble, o'er whom I gave thee power, here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently?
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say, come and go, and breathe twice, and cry, so, each when tripping on his toe, will be here with a mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel. Now come, my Ariel, bring a corollary, rather than want a spirit. Appear and pertly, no tongue, all eyes, be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich lees of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas, whose messenger am I with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport. Her peacocks fly amain. Approach, rich Ceres, her to entertain.
Hail, many-coloured messenger, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, refreshing flowers, rich scarf to my proud earth. Why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short grass green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to a state on the blessed lovers.
Highest queen of state, I know her by that gate. How does my bounteous sister? Go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be and honoured in their issue. Honour, riches, marriage blessing, long continuous and increasing, hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings upon you.
Earth's increase, foys and plenty.
Barns and garners never empty.
Vines and clustering bunches grow.
Plants with goodly burden bowing.
Spring come to you at the very farthest, in the very end of the harvest.
Scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres' blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision, and harmoniously charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits, which by mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father and a wife makes this place paradise.
Sweet now, silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush, and be mute, or else our spell is marred.
You nymphs, called naiads of the windering brooks, with your sedge crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels, and on this green land answer your summons. Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late.
I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come.
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended. These, our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air, and, like the baseless fabric of this vision, ye all which it inherit shall dissolve, and, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness. My brain is troubled. Be not disturbed with my infirmity. If you be pleased, retire to my cell, and there's repose. Eternal too I'll walk, to still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
I, my commander, when I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but I feared least I might anger thee.
Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, bending towards their project. Then I beat my tabor, at which, like unbacked clots, they pricked their ears, lifted up their noses. So I charmed their ears. They followed through, touched briars, pricking grass and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last, I left them. I filthily manted the pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to the chins, that the foul lake overshrunk their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. Go bring it hither.
I go.
A devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick, on whom my pains, humanely taken, all lost, quite lost, and as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring.
Pray you, tread softly. We are near his cell.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
Oh, it's mine. Do you hear, monster?
Thou wert but a lost monster.
Be patient for the prize. I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore, speak softly.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool?
There is not only disgrace and dishonour in that, monster, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wetting. Yet this is your harmless fairy, monster.
Thee, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief, which may make this island thine own forever, and I, thy Caliban, for I, thy footlicker.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to lose.
Oh, King Stephano, oh, worthy Stephano, look what wardrobe is for thee.
Let it alone, thou fool. It is but trash.
Oh, ho, monster, we know what belongs to a frippery. Oh, King Stephano.
Put off that gown, Trinculo, by this hand. I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
Let's alone and do the murder first. If he awake, from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches and make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster, Mistress Line. Is not this my jerkin?
Do we steal by line and Neville? Aren't like your grace.
I thank thee for that. Here's a garment fought, which shall not be unrewarded when I am king of this country.
Monster, put some lime upon your fingers and away with the rest.
I'll have none of it. We shall lose our time.
Monster, lay to your fingers. Help to bear this away when my hogshead of wine is. I'll turn you out my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
And this.
And this.
Hey, Mountain, hey!
Silver, I dare it, go Silver!
Fury, there, Tyrant, there! Go charge my goblins, that they grind their joints with dry convulsions and shorten up their sinews with aged cramps.
Hark, they roar!
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour lie at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labours end, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. For a little follow, and do me service. Now does my project gather to a head. Say, my spirit, how fares the kings and followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge. Just as you left them, all the prisoners, sir. They cannot budge until your release. The king's son, his brother, and yours. Abide all these distracted, and reminder mourning over them. Chiefly, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down like winter drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works them, that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
Go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back, by whose aid I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oped and let 'em forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure, and when I have required some heavenly music to work mine end upon their senses, that this airy charm, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet, I'll drown my book. A solemn air, and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy, cure thy brains. There stand, for you are spell-stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honourable man, mine eyes even sociable to show of thine. Fall fellowly drops, the charm dissolves apace. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to him you followest, I will pay thy graces home, both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for't now, Sebastian, flesh and blood you, brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, who, with Sebastian, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee. Unnatural though thou reasonable sure that thou art, their understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks on me, or would know me, Ariel. Fetch me that hatton rapier in my cell. I will discase me, and myself present as I was sometime Milan. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Where the bee sucks, there suck I. In a cowslip bough I lie. There I crouch when owls do cry. On the bat's back I do fly, after summer merrily. Merrily, merrily, shall I live now under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Why, that's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. To the kingship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the bent hatches. The master and the boatswain being awake, enforce them to this place, and presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me, and return all air your pulse twice beat.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some
Heavenly power guide us out to this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, since I saw thee the affliction of my mind amends, with which I fear a madness held me. And if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honour cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe some things certain. Welcome, my friends all. But you, were I so minded, I here could pluck his highness's frown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time I will tell no tales. For you, Alonso, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How hast thou met us here, where I have lost my dear son Ferdinand? Irreparable is the loss.
Have I means much weaker than to call to comfort you? For I have lost my daughter.
My daughter? Oh, heavens! I wish myself were muddied in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very Duke which was thrust forth of Milan, who most strangely upon this shore, where you were wrecked, was landed to be the lord on it. Welcome, sir. This cell's my court. Here have I a few attendants and subjects, none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom since you have given me again, I will requite you as good a thing. At least bring forth a wonder to content ye as much as my dukedom.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose?
A most high miracle.
Now all the blessings compass thee about.
Oh, wonder, how many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. O brave new world, that has such people in it.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she a goddess?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renown, but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life, and second father, this lady makes him to me.
Oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask for my child's forgiveness.
Let us not burden our remembrance with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke here this. Was Milan thrust from Milan, that his issue should become kings of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy. In one voyage did Claribel her husband find at Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother found a wife where he himself was lost. Prospero his dukedom in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own.
Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Oh, look, sir, look, sir.
Here is more of us. This fellow could not drown. What is the news?
The best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which we gave out split, is tight and bravely rigged as when we first put it out to sea. We were dead of shrieking, howling, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible. We were awaked straight away at liberty, where we freshly beheld our royal and good and gallant ship.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went. Wasn't well done?
My tricksy spirit, bravely my diligence, thou shalt be free.
This is a strange amaze as ever men trod.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. Be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself, for this is all but fortune. Coraggio! Bully monster Coraggio!
If these be true spies, which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight.
These be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me.
Ha ha! What things are these, my lord Antonio?
One of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable.
This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch. These three have robbed me, and this demi-devil had plotted with them to take my life. Two of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stefano, my drunken butler? And Trinculo's reeling ripe? Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded them? How camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why? How now? Stefano!
Oh, touch me not! I am not Stefano, but a cramp.
You'll be king of the isle, Sirrah?
I should have been a sore one then.
This is a stranger thing as ever men saw.
He is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape. Go, Sirrah, to my cell, and take with you your companions, as you look to have my pardon.
Aye, that I will. And I'll be wise hereafter, and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I, to take this drunkard for a god, and worship this dull fool.
Go to, away. Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which, part of it, I will waste with such discourse as, I not doubt, will make it go quick away. And in the morn I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hope to see the nuptial of these, our dear beloved, solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely.
I'll deliver all, my Ariel. Then to the elements, be free, and fare thou well. Please you, draw near. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Let me not dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces, so that it assaults mercy itself, and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.
Ban, ban, cala, cala, ban. Cheers.
Hey! Woo! Hooray!
Well done, guys.
Well done, everybody. Well done. Well done. Well done, everyone. I'm trying to see everybody, but I can't see myself now. Oh, well